Well, today on the program, we're going to be focusing on transforming Nigeria's economy, and we'll be taking lessons from China. And China has been touted to, or is growing astronomically faster than a lot of people ever envisaged. And so today on the program, we're going to be looking at how Nigeria can actually borrow a leaf from what's happening in China. And I'm joined on the program by a developmental economist, Odelim Nwebara. Thank you so much, Odelim, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been a long time coming, you know, being compared to most of this Asian countries because they're doing so well, and Nigeria also hopes to do as well as they are doing. Looking at China now, how did China become the second wealthiest country in the world today in 3 decades?
As you have said, it's very phenomenal. I just came back from China a week and a half ago, or just a week ago anyway. The country is driven by patriotism. It's driven by hard work, and is driven by focused leaders who want to, at your cost, emerge, transform, and create prosperity for all Chinese. It is incredible.
But don't we have all of that here? We have patriotism, we have hard-working Nigerians, as well as policies and a focused government as well.
I think the problem in Nigeria, and I continue to say it, is leadership. Nigerians are among the most hardworking people, but you know, when there's no leader, there's no direction.
No, let's be more specific. Are we talking about the leaders or talking about the policies?
What I'm saying in terms of leader is a leader that is focused on transforming Nigerian economy with set goals, with economic patriotism. Because, you know, at the end of the day, what matters is how to transform an economy in an inclusive way so that the citizens will partake in it and so that the citizens will prosper. Okay,
so Odelim, let's be very clear as regards what we're talking about.
Yes.
We're not talking about the leadership that we have in terms of the way, the people who are there right now, or is it, what are you specifically talking about the policies? Let me quickly get my point out.
Okay.
Are we talking about the policies that these leaders are putting forward? Because we know that, I'm not holding brief for the government, but we know that we're seeing a lot of policies being rolled out, but at least this present administration, in terms of trying to develop some key sectors that will grow the economy. Now, in terms of implementation, we have agencies that actually saddle the responsibilities of implementing these policies. And so we cannot constantly be blaming the leadership for the inability of these agencies to follow through with the policies, because that's the mandate of these agencies to be doing. So I want us to be particularly clear here. Are we talking about the policies that are being put in place? Are they too stringent? Are they too strict? Are they not sort of policies that can be followed through?
Okay. Let me put it this way. Since you want to just narrow it to policies, I would say that most of the policies we are pursuing today and we have pursued in the past are not patriotic enough, are not really focused on the real economic diversification, economic transformation. Take, for instance, I don't want to go too far, because if I go too far, it will become difficult for us to comprehend each other or understand each other. The Minister of Finance knows that what we are doing is like pouring water into a basket. Unless we do some fiscal maneuvering and monetary policy maneuvering. First of all, there's no way you can say you want to diversify the economy when foreign-made goods are flooding the economy, displacing even small businesses that are coming up. So I think that the first thing we would have done, if we were patriotic enough, is to say, what do we do to grow the small businesses in this country? Because small businesses all over the world are those businesses that drive economic development. So unless we exit WTO, I continue to say it, or unless we create we put high ban on imported goods, so that small businesses in the country will be protected. It's not our making. Look, every country, go to the history of economic development as far back as 1489, when Henry the Seventh started it, and in 1791, Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury of the United States, did it. So every country has actually protected small businesses. But what we are doing is that we say, okay, we want to develop, we want to industrialize, but you don't put those factors, those things that will make industrialization take place. So
what factors are we talking about now?
First of all, we have to exit WTO. We have to protect small businesses. Two, we have to devalue naira and make sure that the interest rate is so the interest rate is not as high as it is.
Okay, now let me just take you up on this.
Yes.
We know that the Central Bank of Nigeria, for the past couple of meetings that they've been having as a monetary policy meeting, has as much as possible tried to maintain a certain corridor on the monetary policies that it makes.
Okay.
Now, although a lot of people are complaining that it's a little too strict and it's stifling the growth of the small and medium enterprises, which you are talking about right now, some also argues that it's also a right step in the right direction, considering what we have vis-a-vis what's happening on the global scene. Now, we are talking also about fiscal policies.
Yes.
Are the policies that we have, because I initially talked about the policies, the policies that we have, are they enough? Are they too strict? You're not talking about fiscal and monetary policies.
Yes.
The ones that we have right now, are they not implementable? Are they not convenient enough for growing the economy?
No, they are not. And I continue to. I've written extensively about it, and I continue to write until the writing is done. Look, you cannot be running a monetary policy that actually makes naira highly valued. When naira is highly valued, it means that the imported goods are cheaper and the locally made goods are more expensive. We know that.
But you know that recently the Central Bank of Nigeria actually took a stance on foreign exchange and banned the importation of foreign exchange by banks, and how the bureau de change actually sell, what amount the bureau de change will sell, and rest of all this foreign exchange policies. Now, with all of this that is happening, don't you expect, because every time everybody talks about this situation, they're always giving knocks. We're talking about the problems, but we're not giving ample solutions, reasonable solutions that can be followed through.
See, I'm not trying to brag here. I think if you ask me to table out what needs to be done to move this country diversified, first thing, we have to devalue naira. We have to devalue so that we make foreign-made goods more expensive and make locally made goods cheaper. Two, we have to exit WTO, because if we devalue naira without exiting WTO, there will be a pressure on the dollar, and then there will be a run on the naira. So if we exit WTO, it means that those countries that are dumping their goods in Nigeria will be forced to relocate their factories in Nigeria. That's what China did in 1978, 1979. That's what China did. It's not magic. You see, what we are thinking is that all these things, we economists and the policymakers make it too complicated, so people will not understand the situation. Two things Nigeria must do: exit WTO, devalue naira, and make sure the interest rate is very low. And make sure federal government does not borrow domestically. Federal government must go and borrow LIBOR rate or overseas, so that there will be more money for private sector to borrow.
Okay, Odilin, we know that China is a core manufacturer. They do a lot of manufacturing, cars and the rest of it. And recently, the Federal Executive Council actually brought out a new automotive bill policy on importation of used cars. Now, if this policy kicks in, as effectively as we're hoping to, are we going to see a gradual shift to what is obtainable right now in China happening here in Nigeria?
No. I'm sorry, I think I flew in with Aganga this morning and we didn't have opportunity to talk. Let me tell you, unless the basic industries are in place, you cannot just postulate that because you have come with a policy, things will happen. First of all, where are the state makers? Where are the state industries? Where are the basic plastic making industries? So you have to have all these things in place. Then you now change the policy. What he is saying is good, but it's not the right time. If you block
it's not the right time.
It's not the right time, because first of all, we would have put in place the basic industries that will now energize the transfer of certain manufacturing to Nigeria. If we started saying, okay, automotive parts must be made in Nigeria, no importation of automotive parts. Those makers, those companies that have, you do know Nigeria with 170 million nation can make people relocate their factories to Nigeria. So if we have said that, you know what would have happened? Chinese, Japanese, Americans, all those people shipping their goods to Nigeria will come and start setting their parts manufacturing. And then some Nigerian small businesses will be supplying some of the parts.